Good afternoon. Lots of gaps to deal with from Sunday's open. I don't remember the last time I dealt with a 300-point gap on a Sunday open. Typically, smaller gaps are refilled. So I would expect, starting with Euro New Zealand, I would expect this gap here to be filled in. What I want to say about this pair, starting here, it is possible to count the first leg as 5 waves here. You can make a case that this is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 3, wave 4, wave 5. So if this is going to stay bullish, I mean, I've been saying that this pair is bullish anyway. I've just been expecting a further leg down. Now, if this is going to be bullish from here, we want to see a complete 5-wave move to a new high. And then there can be some type of retracement after that. However, so long as it stays as 3 waves, it remains open to being an X wave for another move down, or at least for a gap fill. Now, if it closes as some kind of hanging man up here, there is the possibility that this will be a 3-wave move with a new high and something like this. It is possible. However, also, if we see the 5-wave, it has the characteristic of a 3rd wave now with a big gap. So if we see this make a 5-wave move overall and then retrace in a choppy manner, it will be a buy, even if it doesn't completely fill every point here, because it does have the characteristics of a 3rd wave with a big wave up. But if it stays as 3, it's remaining vulnerable to a correction, especially with a hanging man like that. Euro Australian dollar, I'm preferring the bullish case now, as I said on the weekend. Also, this is breaking out. However, I don't really view this as immediately bullish. It's gotten quite complicated in here, and there's a possibility to make a bullish case, but that's not my preferred view. I'm preferring this more as some kind of expanding diagonal, a correction, and a move higher. But let's see if it holds this breakout first. Now, one pair that I do think is making more sense is Aussie New Zealand. This made a very small 3-wave correction here and then spiked up on open. So I would look at this with a breakout here. I'm looking at this as being in wave 3 now. Basically, any type of correction on a breakout here should be a buy. It's looking like it's starting the strong move up towards 114 overall. So that hasn't changed. No real gap there. It's mostly on the euro pairs. Euro pound, my idea on this being not a 3-wave move may be dead. It's a little bit too early to say, because if it hangs up here, it is vulnerable to a move lower, as I've said, which is just have to adjust the count down. So I'm not trading this anyway, but see how that, all of the euro pairs are looking vulnerable, in fact, to a move lower if they hang like this and they're not bought into further. Pairs that have been working well, Canadian pairs still going well. US Canadian is very strong still. Again, Euro Canadian is hanging up here for this leading diagonal idea. It is vulnerable up here if it closes as a hanging man, and the whole swing here looks like 5 waves, so a case may be able to be put in that there's a high in. Let's see if that works out over the next couple hours or days. That could be a very good trade, actually, for a move lower. Yen pairs I'm not dealing with right now. Gold is still at resistance. And Euro Australian dollar, this is still, see, the whole thing about this, it's still a corrective complex. The whole composite is corrective, and it's under resistance, and it does look likely to fall down, just to go down. It's just that I've been suspicious of obvious moves lately. I mean, we saw the obvious triangle and cable get burst through, and there's another instance somewhere else where this happened. So I am wary of this. Now, what I talked about on the weekend, the dollar index here, this low being broken possibly, but a very sharp reversal to follow. That's going to have to power through, in my opinion, because a case can be made that this is a kind of sloppy leading diagonal here. So if we see another move down, for example, if we see something like this, a break here, and then some kind of crummy three-wave move up into a trend line resistance, I will be very suspicious of this, and I will be looking for this to turn over. I'm not in any way expecting, expecting isn't the word, I'm not in any way reliant upon a dollar move up. I mean, I've adjusted the count here so that it's 5 in overall, and in my opinion, this is completely valid, as this further gyration here can count as 4 and 5, and overall that is enough to complete 5 waves overall into here. So there's some possibility that the entire upswing is done on the dollar index from 2008. It doesn't have to put in some kind of obvious pattern. I mean, it could do something like an ending diagonal up here, but there's no reason for it to put in something obvious. I mean, the markets try to keep the obvious out of the way, or if some obvious thing happens, the market tries to remove it or trade around it. Otherwise, everyone will be doing this. So I am suspicious of this move. I don't want to repeat it too much, but if this puts in some kind of rubbish three-wave correction, I will be looking at this as a possible sell. I'd like to see a little bit lower first to make it look more like an LD, and then let's see what happens. Now, of course, the issue is that the other dollar pairs don't match that idea. I mean, pound still looks corrective, euro still looks corrective, Aussie for now looks corrective, and this too. It's just that when you deal with a complex like this and it doesn't follow your projection, there's a good reason to be suspicious and to adjust your counts. I mean, I can make further adjustments so that this turns into some kind of correction and there's another justification for a move higher, but how many justifications are you going to make until you change your view? And I don't want to overdo it with adjustments on the bullish side when it's looking weak and it's not responding. So I'll be watching this. And yeah, let's see what happens here. Euro New Zealand, it is vulnerable here. If it closes as a hanging man, it's vulnerable at least. But anyway, this pair is bullish. And Aussie New Zealand looks good. Need a small breakout here, but this does look good overall. So, okay, any questions, let me know. And if anyone has any info about gap fills, big gap fills like this, let me know, because I don't remember the last time I dealt with a 300-point gap on a Sunday open. All the gaps I remember are smaller than that, and they all fill. So let me know, please. Okay, good luck. Bye-bye.